Hello, everyone. My name is Judith Uchidiuno, and today I'll be talking to you about fostering equitable help seeking for K-3 students in low-income and rural contexts in Tanzania specifically. Access to education is considered a basic human right in Tanzania by the government, and all their efforts to improve education access has led to a dramatic increase in student enrollment in secondary schools and all levels of education. However, in the same time period, the number of teachers entering the system has decreased. The number of schools have pretty much stayed the same, and the teacher-to-student ratio is still very, very high in rural areas. So there's an opportunity for technology-driven solutions to come help supplement formal education. But we know that with any learning system, there has to be support for that learning. So adults provide help, motivation, and enforce rules of engagement in a learning space. Students, so peer-to-peer support also improves cognitive activity, increases motivation and satisfaction, and the discourse brings about positive learning gains. So given teachers' limited presence and capacity in this context, we have to design technologies that allow peers to support one another to maximize their success. All this work we did in a rural village in Tanzania, which is in East Africa. This village had limited phone service, water, electricity. Feature phones were the most predominant technology we observed in the village. The predominant occupation is farming, and we have consent obtained from village school parents. So this study is in parts led by two preceding studies. And the first thing that we did was to find out what happens when you deploy education technologies in schools with students unassisted by adults. What happens? And we found out that students primarily need support with three areas: application support, which is just navigating between applications; knowledge support, which is just domain knowledge help; and digital literacy, for example, how do you tap, how do you swipe, and those kinds of things. And then our next study, we wanted to see how can peers, so when you give them technology, how do peers support one another while learning? And we found that even when we equip them with technical skills, we could not rely on peers to naturally emerge. We had to assign them as helpers. And even with the assignment, we have to create this social expectation, this public expectation of who the helper is for help to be most effective. And we saw that just the students who were most competent were helping the other students. So we had to design a way for the help to be more equitable across different students. So to account for these, we designed an Android-based system that detected errors due to the three areas of struggle: digital literacy, application navigation, and domain knowledge. And the system provides appropriate feedback when necessary, including a recommendation that students seek support from a specific peer. So they will be navigating an application. When it detects struggle with some threshold, they'll see the hand raising icon on the side, and it will recommend the student in the same room for them to ask for help from. This was a between subjects study with 100 students across 5 grades. We did pre and post tests to determine their learning gains. We randomly assigned students into control or treatment groups balanced by their prior relationships to one another. And we collected video data from 137 hour-long sessions. To begin, we were very happy to see that the students recognized the icon on the side as equivalent to the hand raising they always do in the classroom. So that was nice from a design perspective to observe. We also found that prior relationships didn't really matter. Students called on their peers regardless of gender. Students might have been a little bit more affectionate to help their peers, but overall it was the same. And this was a similar interaction that we observed in the classroom as well. Overall, we found that across all the different grades, the intervention led to about 4 times increase in student interaction compared to the control group. And also led to a whole host of benefits. So of course, it provided the application and gesture support that students needed. It also led to students selecting more challenging activities. It allowed the lower achieving students the opportunity to help their higher achieving peers because they could support with more things than domain knowledge expertise. It allowed students a social license to request for help and insist for it because everybody knew who was the helper and the system had authorized them to insist for help from this person. And finally, it allowed students to monitor their own cognition better. So students got better at saying, I need this specific kind of help. Even if the system recommends this person, I think I should call on this different person for help. So overall, we are looking for feedback on novel ways of sensing students struggle using technology, improvements to our data analysis and design, and also additional metrics to gather intervention efficacy. Thank you.